all the change starts with ourselves, you know, and so we each have an opportunity to every day view our life as a work of art, you know, or as a finely tuned machine that runs with efficiency, you know, and how can we as people be effective at what we do in our lives in helping to create and relieve suffering in this planet, and also what are things every day that we can do to improve the quality of our own communities. And a lot of times we look at the whole world and we think, it's so daunting. How can we change the whole world? And you don't need to do that. What you need to do is change your world a little bit, you know, and see if you can, through example, inspire others to do the same thing.
Don't take our boys away, no. Don't take our girls away, no. Don't take our boys away, no. Don't take our girls away, no. Don't take our boys away, no. Don't take our girls away, no. Take our boys. Bozeman, I want to see you jumping.
Well, I think the Bioneers concept is one that is setting a new course for the history of this, not only this country, but the planet. And we've reached a point in this country where I feel that as I travel around and see different cities, especially the smaller cities around the country, that there's a kind of a new consciousness that's taking place.
Take our boys away, no. Take our girls away, no. Take our boys away, no. Take our girls away, no. Take our boys away, no. Take our girls away, no. Take our boys away. I want to see you jumping, y'all.
Well, my goal has not ever been to change minds. My goal is to open minds. So when people see my film or come to a show, I want them to say, wow, that's a different way of looking at things. And I'm gonna maybe go find out more, you know. And I also want people to feel inspired, you know. So I try to make art that is uplifting.
Put your hands together, y'all.
I think that after 9/11, when we were in our moment of greatest sadness as a nation, when we were mourning those deaths and all of us were in pain, this small group of neoconservatives used our pain in order to set their agenda on its course. Recently, we've had some things that have sort of begun to lift that veil off. We've seen Hurricane Katrina, when people were literally starving to death in New Orleans because there weren't human resources and the mechanical resources, helicopters and other vehicles, to go into New Orleans because they're all in Iraq. And people start saying, wait a minute, this ain't cool. Why did the levee break in the first place? It's because we're spending billions of dollars on the military and not on things that are taking place in this country. People are beginning to wake up. People are beginning to see that. And so I think more importantly than having a democratic government, or I should say the Democratic Party in office, more important than that is to raise the consciousness of all the people of this country. You know, it shouldn't be a Republican or Democratic issue whether we take care of the environment. That should be a human issue. Everyone should have that same concern. It shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican issue whether we continue this failed policy in Iraq. That should be a human concern, you know. And that's the type of educating that we need to do, is to move beyond Republican and Democrat and move into, as people, what type of country do we want to have? And as a world, what type of world do we want to live in? I try to make the music be danceable because I find that that's the best way to include people. You know, if you make a music that has a rhythm that people want to bounce their head to, they find themselves doing it reflexively, you know. But I also try to make the music be intimate. And so at times, the music gets quiet, you know, and you really hear the voice. And I think that that's really the trick in whatever your setting is as an artist or as an entertainer, is to establish intimacy.
Every time I need a prayer, every time I need to share, every time I need someone to hold on to. You tell me lies, lies, lies. Sweet little lies, when I cannot bear the truth. Let me hear you sing it. You tell me lies, lies, lies. Sweet little lies, help me make them all come. Help me make them come true, yeah. Help me make them all come true. Help me, help me make them all come true. When I can't stand the pain, help me make them all come true. that you're. Tell me that the rain won't fall today. No, tell me that the tax man lost his way. Tell me that the hurting, it ain't gonna hurt no